Kyle Larson does more IndyCar testing. Denny Hamlin will get rid of the clash. And we got to talk about Fox Sports. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Rolling the Bomb. I'm your host, Zach Boy. We're back for another episode. Lots of stuff to cover, so we're not going to screw around here. We're going to cut right to the chase. So let's rock. First topic. There'll be 50 entries for the ARCA Opener Race at Daytona. This is massive. You know, ARCA series is a much smaller series. You got big teams, medium teams, and really, really small teams. We got teams that are working on their cars in their own garage. But this is massive. SVG will be in this race. So this will be really exciting. There'll be only 40 entries open. So if this race is, if qualifying is on TV, it'll definitely be must-see TV to see who makes the big race. It'll be, I think the race is on Saturday around 2:30, right a little bit before the Xfinity Series race. So it should be exciting, 82-lap race. So definitely this is great for IndyCar. Really, definitely will be exciting and must-see TV to see who comes out on top. This is the IndyCar news. I have some NASCAR stuff, but the CW is doing season 2 of 100 Days to Indy. The IndyCar series documenting teams, you know, preparation for the Indy 500. This is great. You know, IndyCar has not had a lot of positivity in the offseason. I don't think they do a good job of marketing their sport, but this is definitely one good thing. Another thing is, speaking of the Indy 500, Kyle Larson's doing more IndyCar testing at Phoenix. IndyCar doesn't even race there, but Kyle Larson's doing some testing. I think Kyle Larson's good. I think he passed his orientation for the 500, so I don't have to worry about him like being eligible to drive these Indy cars. So that's really cool. That's definitely, I think one thing that they should document in the 100 Days to Indy is Kyle Larson's preparation for this race. I'm not sure if they are. I wonder if they're even starting to film yet. But that would definitely be something cool to see. You know, him, NASCAR driver attempts Indy 500. What's that like? What's the differences? What is he doing? Is he training more often? All the different things that go into IndyCar. I think those will all be cool things to do. Especially, everyone's trying to be everyone wants to have that Trying to Survive type documentary. And I think NASCAR's the closest thing to it because they're on the same streaming platform. But this is still great that CW sees interest in this show, in this series. But this is, a very positive thing for IndyCar. Another thing, the NASCAR industry has been talking about what the future of the Clash looks like. Kyle Busch did a poll that has 25,000 votes. He had 4 options: back Daytona, returning to the Coliseum, overseas / out of the U.S., Dallas Cowboys Stadium. 62% of those votes say back Daytona. And that's what it seems like most fans want. They want to return back to the original area. I always thought the reason they left was because of fans. There wasn't as much people there. I felt like they were also tearing up a lot of stuff too, and just wasn't as it didn't really make any sense because the race is always just turning to crash fest, so it wasn't that logical. And I think that they did a good job with the 3 years of the Clash of the Coliseum, the LA Coliseum, because I think they wanted to show the sport to do eyes. I think they did that. But yeah, it just shows that the fans want it back in that original spot. But Denny Hamlin and also Chris Rice were talking about what the purse would be. I think Denny Hamlin was saying, or Chris Rice was saying, the current purse is only like 25%. I feel like what they're saying there is that the Clash should have the same, prestiges, that the purse should still be as big. Because you got to think about it, they were going across the country just for this Clash, and they were only getting 2 to 3 million. They're not even getting a full, what a full purse would be for a big time race. So I think that's also one thing you got to think about. Speaking of Denny Hamlin, he had some interesting thoughts about going back to Daytona.
I don't know. We mentioned on the podcast last week, right? When you took it from Daytona, it took away from the storylines a little bit. There was always a correlation of the person that wins a Clash or someone that looks strong or bleeds the Clash at Daytona, they are going to be the ones to beat for the Daytona 500. Now we do not know until qualifying, like whose car's going to be fast. And with the lack of practice that we have now for the 500, it makes even more sense to be at Daytona, but there's no way I want to go tear up multiple cars at 2311 financially.
So when he talks about Daytona, he talks about the Clash was almost like a warm-up. It almost kind of let you know who the top guys were going to be. He talks about how you were going to figure out who the top guy. It built a storyline, right? But then he also says how it's not as logical because he does, as a team owner, he doesn't want to go tear up a bunch of freaking cars, which makes 100% sense. Another thing, this was from Justin Marks about what the Clash could be used for, this is what he said next. Use it to showcase the grassroots of the sport. Salem, New Smyrna, Wall Stadium, Nashville, Winchester, etc. Climate demanding invest in the track's infrastructure, galvanizing the sports foundation. Heck of a show. All entries start in May, but produce it at a level that makes it a true promotional event for the TV viewers. So he talks about going to grassroots tracks, small tracks. They go in there and they rebuild it, make it better than they left it. That was really cool. Well, this is what Denny Hamlin said about that.
I saw, the popular suggestion is invest in the infrastructure of the short tracks. So, say you went to a short track, NASCAR, go spend some money on it, making sure the facility is a little bit nicer. That facility gets to reap the benefits of that infrastructure upgrade for that race for many, many years after that. And then you get to highlight some local short tracks. That's great in theory, but there's just financials there that I think NASCAR is going to be apprehensive to just spend money to help someone else out and not reap benefits from it.
The big thing I took out of that is that it would be a great thing, he would say. It would really highlight some short tracks, but he doesn't know NASCAR would just want to spend a bunch of money to help someone else without maybe reaping the benefits, right? Getting something in return, because I don't know when they're, to me, it would only benefit the short tracks than really benefit NASCAR, because NASCAR would just, they would be showcasing their sport, but they're the ones putting the money to really build up the infrastructure to house a bunch of people. Now, what would Denny Hamlin choose? This is what he had to say.
I would probably vote that we did not have the Clash and we run more practice before the 500. I think that's a better use of resources. I think that is a better build up for the Daytona 500. Now, the negative to it is you're losing a race and an event on TV that has had 2 or 3 million viewers.
He would choose to get rid of the Clash completely in order to get more practice for the 500 to help build up that race. Now, the negative to that, he said, that is you're going to lose a race on main TV that gets, 2 to 3 million viewers, which is a lot of TV money. So that was some interesting thoughts. I do like that because I for one, I don't understand why we can't get more practice. Well, really, to me, all you really need for the Daytona 500 is to have one practice session before qualifying to help a little bit more build up. But no, I do agree that you should have more practice for the 500 to really build up, allow the broadcast to build storylines. So in my opinion, I do like what Denny Hamlin's saying there. But I also understand that you're going to lose that TV money from not having a Clash. But those are all interesting suggestions, ideas. They're all cool. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. NASCAR's already been talking about Canada or Mexico for the Clash. So it definitely will be a fascinating storyline following through this year and going into next year. Last thing I want to go to is a little bit of a rant on Fox Sports. This past race, Fox is getting a ton of slack past years. Just the production has been terrible. The broadcast booth doesn't have energy. The way they're broadcasting, they just don't do a good job, right? And I thought the Clash was another case of it. There was so much to happen in this race. And I would say that a lot of the negative to this race was not because of their booth. The people calling the race, Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Bowyer. I actually like that booth. I think Kevin Harvick's going to bring a lot of seriousness to the booth, fun, excitement to the booth. So those are all things I'm looking forward to. Now, when it comes to overall production, I mean, they missed so much. I'm just looking at this, but Ryan Pastana posted a bunch of stuff. He posted, I guess, when Bubba Wallace on the last lap got turned, he spun out. Instead of finishing the lap, he went and exited the track. Now, Fox didn't cover that. They didn't cover Ross Chastain, running into Tyler Reddick on the cooldown lap. Also, they didn't talk about, they mentioned it, but they didn't show it on video on the broadcast of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. going up to John Nemechek during their break. They didn't cover that. And then there's this weird video of the video. It's the last night they're showing the cars, and all of a sudden it zooms to this fan holding a Ryan Blaney flag up. and then the race is over, and then it cuts to the Tyler Reddick and Ross Chastain incident. So that was such a weird instance. Like what? And look, it's probably not the cameraman's fault. It's probably the people running the show, and also they missed the whole Ty Gibbs and Joey Logano incident. They didn't cover that at all. They didn't bring that up at all. No interviews. NASCAR was the one that had the interviews for him. And I think a lot of this has to do is because Fox just doesn't have a post-race show. They don't put priority in that. It's like, hey, if the race is past their window, you know, they may have a little bit of post-race interviews, but then they're out. And that's the opposite for what NBC is. NBC, if they go past their TV window, guess what? You got Peacock. And I don't know Peacock. You have to pay Peacock to get that, you know, extra post-race. But that's definitely something that that NBC has that Fox doesn't have. But I just think their production has not been great for Fox. And to me, you know, even with the Fox's truck race, they don't even fly the people out. So they're missing stuff. The crew only has, the broadcast crew only has cameras to look at to figure out what's going on in the racetrack. And their energy, you just need energy, you need passion. It's all like, oh, there goes Jimmy, round turn 2. Just, you need more passion, right? I feel like the early Fox, when Fox began, you just see the passion, the energy. And then also, I forgot this one point, when Denny Hamlin is crossing the finish line.
Off turn 4, spinner turn 4, and the checkered flag is waved.
Got Mike Joy yelling, and there's a spin in turn 4. Like, because the rule was you have to finish under green. So if NASCAR couldn't throw a caution right there, and that could have, you know, they could have had to re-rack them. But luckily, they didn't see that wreck, and Denny Hamlin crossed the finish line right before that, or right after that. And then they cut to Denny Hamlin's freaking crew chief just chilling there. Like, what was the point of doing that? There was no emotion in that. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I think Fox needs to do better. Because, you know, you can think there's not that big of a deal, or I'm just ranting, whatever. But they are showing NASCAR to other fans. They're showing NASCAR to millions. If people want to check out NASCAR, Fox is half the season. That's who they have to go to if they want to watch NASCAR. Okay, so they are very, very big importantness in whether or not NASCAR can grow, and also to help NASCAR grow. So, you know, I think hopefully, you know, Fox can, you know, we'll see with the Daytona 500 how that production goes, how that race goes, but they definitely need to improve, give, you know, a better look for NASCAR. Watching all, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you think of all the topics, where you want the class to go. What do you think about Fox's bad production, in my opinion? And what do you think about Kyle Larson, more IndyCar testing, ARCA's 50 cars? Just let me all know down below. Give me some of your thoughts. Besides that, guys, love you guys, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.